Hello guys, can you hear my voice? Thanks. So I am audible, so we will start with the session. Fine. So today's session is about uh, previous year questions. As you know, we have started a series in which we are covering the previous year questions on finance and management. And in this video, this is part number 4 of your previous year questions. We shall be discussing. Let me reduce the voice at my end because I'm able to hear my voice itself. Fine, now we are good to go. So this is part number 4 of your previous year questions on FM, and I hope you like this session as always. I want you to be participative and as interactive because the questions are not that difficult. If you have basic understanding of these topics related to finance and management, I think you should be able to participate in this session. So the first question on your screen is what are the procedures to identify the content of job in terms of activities involved and attributes or job requirements needed to perform the activities called. So the question is very easy. The question says that what are those procedures called that are used to identify the content of job in terms of the activities involved in that job or the attributes or the requirements of that job. Come on guys, answer this. So I can see a lot of people have started answering this, and there seems to be a lot of confusion. Okay, so some people are answering it as 3, some people are answering it as 2. Fine, come on guys, I want everybody to participate. Still not everybody has answered this. The question is that what are those procedures that are used to identify the job in terms of the activities involved in that job or the requirements for that job. The question seems to be confusing. Some people might answer it as job specification because job specifications are the ones which tells us that what are the skills required for that job, or some people might think that job identification is the answer because it is job identification which tells us that what are the activities involved in the job, but the right answer is actually job analysis. The keyword here is what are the procedures that are used to identify the activities or the attributes of the job called. It is not asked that what are those terms that describe activities involved or attributes or job requirements. The question is what are the procedures which are used to identify the activities or the attributes or the job requirements called. Right, so the answer is job analysis. Job analysis is actually a procedure which is used to obtain the information about the job. Job analysis is very common these days in every organization. It is used for various purposes. Suppose the company wants to recruit person for a particular job, then they will do the job analysis, that what is actually job requiring, what is the function to be performed, what are the skills required for the job. Only after doing the job analysis they can recruit and select people for that job. And similarly, training and development needs are also analyzed using job analysis, because using job analysis you can gauge that what are the changes happening in terms of skills required for the job, and then you can train the people in that area. Right, so these are two functions that I have explained. Apart from that, for performance evaluation on a particular job, compensation management of a particular job, or to redesign a job, job analysis is required. So the answer to this question was job analysis. Now let's come to the next question, which is again very much related to the first question. So again, you will get confused in such kind of questions, and that is the motive when they put such questions in your RBI grade B or SEBI grade A exams. The question is, what is the specification of contents, methods and relationship of jobs in order to satisfy technological and organizational requirements as well as the social and personal requirements of the job holder called? Right guys, come on, you can answer this question. I know this is a bit confusing, and this is again as you know, these are past year or previous year papers questions, and many people did this question wrong in the actual exam. But if you read it without any pressure, try to understand that what is happening, I think you will be able to answer this question. Saurabh is saying, is this part of HR? Yes Saurabh, this is part of your human resource development chapter under your management topics. So this is part of your HR. Come on guys, I want everybody to answer this question number 2. So Riju is saying 4. Virat Bajpai is saying 4 again. Read the question carefully and then only try to attempt, because all these terms might seem to be the same, might seem to be confusing, but if you try to relate one of these terms with the actual question, I think you will get your answer. So now many people are saying job enrichment. Sinmoy is saying job enrichment. Arvind is saying job enrichment. Subhashiri Panda is saying 4, job specification. So the question is that basically what is that procedure or what is that thing called which specifies that how one jobs relate to the other job, what are the technological requirements or the technology required to perform that job, and how can that job fulfill the social and personal requirements of that job holder. Kusam is saying 4, Vanka Lingaraja is saying 4, Saurav is asking is it 2, Kundan Krishna is saying 5. Well, now here you can gauge that though the question seems to be easy, but again the options seems to be that much confusing that the question becomes difficult. The answer to this question is actually job design. Right, now what is job design? Job design is basically a thing in which you design a job to find out that what are the equipments required to do that job, in what steps that job has to be performed, or what should be the right sequence of steps to perform that job, what should be the technological advancements that is required to do that job. Right, so job analysis is basically about to know that what type of activity is being performed, what are the skills required to do those activities. Job design is about how that job would be performed, the sequence of steps, the technology that is required to do that job. So if you try to read the question, here says relationship of jobs. Relationship of jobs as in how one job is connected to another job is part of job design. And then technological requirements, again that is part of job design, because you find that what kind of equipment or technology is best to perform that job. and then the social and personal requirements of the job holder. Now job design also takes into account that while you are assigning an employee to a particular job, should you go for job rotation, job enrichment, job enlargement, all these factors are taken into account. I am not going to explain job rotation, job enrichment or job enlargement, but in short, when you employ any of these techniques, the motive is to make employee motivated towards his work. Like for example, job rotation is that you rotate his job. For 6 months he is working in finance department, and for next 2 years maybe he is working in operations department. So that will relieve him of his boredom and he can concentrate on learning new skills. Job enrichment is when you give him the work of his superior. Suppose you are a officer in your office, but if your boss, who is a commissioner, gives you his work, then it is kind of job enrichment, because you are doing your superior's work, you are challenging your abilities, you are learning new things. Similarly, job enlargement is basically extension of work. When you do your colleagues' work, enrichment is about your doing your boss's work. Job enlargement is basically doing your colleagues' work. So it is more of a overload rather than challenge or a learning opportunity. So job enlargement might not add any new skills to your portfolio. It will just be an overload of work for you, where you would be doing the job of your colleague also, who has gone on a leave, or who is not doing his work properly, and therefore your boss has assigned your colleague's work to you. Any of those can be reason. But I hope you have understood about job rotation, job enrichment and job enlargement, and the right answer is job design here. The idea is to relate to the keywords, relationship of jobs, technological requirements and social and personal requirements, right? So the question was tough, but I think only one person or two persons could answer it correctly, Shweta and Saurav also made a guess, but never mind. Let's go to the next question. A leader who is visible all the time and motivates through communication to bring change in the organization is called what? So the question is that leader who is visible all the time, like he can be heard, or his mails are being read all the time, and he kinds of motivates his subordinates, he shows them a vision and he motivates them to achieve that vision. What kind of leader that person is called? Transformational leader, charismatic leader, transactional leader, participative leader, or a coaching leader? Now that's an easy question. I expect everybody to answer this. So a lot of people have started answering it. I can see some people are answering it as 2, which is charismatic. Some people are answering it as 1, that is transformational leader. Shri is saying 5, Ishani is saying 4, Meera is saying 2. Well, I know that confusion here seems to be between your charismatic and transactional. I don't know why people are answering it as participative or coaching, because it is clearly mentioned that this kind of leader is the one who is visible all the time, that is present, or his vision is present all the time, and is constantly motivating his subordinates to achieve that vision through right communication and constant communication. So these kind of leaders are actually called transformational leader. Sorry, it was the confusion was not between 2 and 3, it was between 1 and 2. The answer to this is transformational leader. So what are those transformational leaders? Transformational leaders are the ones like who leads from the front, who inspires or motivates his subordinates, shows them a vision, and then motivates them to work towards that vision and achieve the target, right? And therefore the answer to this question is transformational leader. Let's go to question number 4 now. With respect to transactions involving assets and liabilities involving foreign country, transaction under it are debited from. Virat is saying no guess is going right. Nothing to worry, Virat. Actually, I think even if you attend this session without any previous knowledge, you will get a fair idea of what kind of questions are being asked in these exams. And once you start preparing, I think you will be in a much better position. So the answers have started coming in. Virat is saying 4 for this. Shri is saying 4. Shri is saying 4. Satish is saying 4. Ishan is saying 4. Meera is saying 4. Rohit 4. So everybody is saying 4. Well, the answer is capital account. It's not saying that, I mean, which head. It's saying that under transaction under it are debited from. It's the capital account under BOP actually. Maybe the options are not clear. It should have been written capital account under BOP or current account under BOP. So anyways, I think you got it correct that at least it has to be some account under BOP. So the answer is capital account under BOP. In case you are not aware about capital account or current account convertibility, let me explain you. Current account convertibility is that you have the option to convert your domestic currency into foreign currency for goods and services. Like if you are going abroad for some medical checkups or some medical treatment, or you are going as a tourist, then you have the permission from your domestic government to convert your domestic currency into foreign currency. That is called current account convertibility. Whereas the capital account convertibility is related to conversion of domestic currency into foreign currency for like external commercial borrowings or other loans from foreign banks or foreign governments, or maybe for buying a property in a foreign country. So if you want to convert your currency to take some loan from another country to buy property in some another country which is not goods and services, then it would come under capital account convertibility. So the question was basically that if the transactions are involving assets and liabilities involving foreign countries, means you are kind of taking some loans or buying some property in which foreign country is involved, then that would come under capital account related to BOP, right? Now let's come to question number 5. What is the impact of full CAC on the country? That what is the impact of full capital account convertibility on the country? Here it's written CAC, it could be current account convertibility or capital account convertibility. Anyways, what I mean in this question is what is the impact of full capital account convertibility in the country? That if government gives full capital account convertibility, that if government gives you full permission that you can convert your domestic currency into foreign currency to buy any property abroad or to go into any kind of loan with the foreign government, then what would be the impact of that on the domestic currency or domestic country? So the options are unlimited trade possibility, that it will lead to unlimited trade between the two countries. It will lead to limited amount of FPIs that can flow out or enter the country, affects the inflation in the domestic country, that affects the money supply or exchange rate in the domestic country, or none of the above. So people are answering it as 1. Mahalakshmi is saying 4. Shri is saying 4. Kundan Krishna is saying 4. Subhashiri Panda, Kusum Prajapati, Sinmoy Saika, all are saying 4 now, though initially I got that most of the people were saying 1. Satish Kumar is saying 3, affects inflation in the country. Here again, see, the trick is that you might feel that a lot of options can be true or are similar, but you have to find the best out of it, right? Which is broad or which includes all other options. Devang Sharma is saying 4, Rohit Sarvanan is saying 2. Actually, now if you have full capital account convertibility, it means anybody in India can transact with anybody in USA and can buy any property, exchange any loans. So what is happening is that you are exchanging your domestic currency with a person in the foreign country without any restriction, because there is full capital account convertibility. There is no restriction. You can buy any property, you can engage into that any loan. So if that kind of thing occurs, suppose Indian persons start buying properties in US, it means Indian money will start flowing to US because they are buying property in US. So what will happen? That will impact the money supply in India. That will impact the exchange rate also, because when you buy US property, you will pay in dollars. It means dollars will flow out of India. There would be less dollars in India. Therefore, demand for dollars in India would increase and dollar would appreciate. Right? Because when dollar would be in demand, dollar would be on a high. Right? Dollar would be more stronger then. So, capital account convertibility when it is full leads to more number of transactions without any restriction, which affects the money supply and which can affect the exchange rate also. Yes, it can impact inflation also, but the fourth option is a more broad based option which includes all other options. Therefore, the answer is option number 4. Now let's come to question number 6. Which among these is generally not traded off exchange? Forwards, forwards and swaps, futures or swaps? Now this is not a tough question. I think you should be able to answer this question. This is a very easy question if you have understood about the basics of forwards, futures and swaps, that how are the forwards traded, how are the futures traded, what is the difference between futures and forwards. You should be able to answer this question. The question basically is that which among these are generally not traded off exchange, means they are not traded without exchange or they are traded only on exchange. Now Rohan Singh is saying option number 2, forwards and swaps. Let's see. Vanka Lingaraj is saying 1. Kusum Prajapati is saying 1. Subhashri Pandey is saying 1. Roshan Singh is now saying 3. Anuja Rai is saying 2. The question is which of these are, or which of these cannot be traded without an exchange. Let me put it that way. Which of these cannot be traded without an exchange? Manobala Ganeshan is saying 1. Swati Sharma 3. Sinmoy Sakia 3. Rohit Sarvanan 1. Kusum Prajapati 1 or 2. Well guys, I am not able to gauge. Many of you have answered it wrongly, and this is the easiest question you can get in the exam. The right answer is futures. Futures are the one. I think it's a learning that you should try to understand that the questions are easy, but then they are concept based and that sometimes they can catch you in the language of the question. So the answer is futures. Now let's come to question number 7. Question number 7 is basically a lengthy question that you can read, but I think what you need to understand by reading this question is that basically the question is saying that SEBI has recently set up a committee to address corporate governance in Indian firms. Now when they are saying recently, it is recently when the exam was held. I think this is a question from 2017 exam. So here the question is talking about an event or a committee that was set up by SEBI in 2017, and the question says that the committee will advise regulators on areas such as independent functioning of directors, accounting and auditing issues, improving effectiveness of board evaluation practices, addressing issues faced by investors on voting and participation in general meetings and all those things. So basically the question is that under whose chairmanship this committee will work. Now Satish Kumar is saying Uday Kotak, Rohit Sarvanan is saying option number 4, that is again Uday Kotak, Anurag, Swati, Kundan, Anuja, all are saying 4. Anybody here thinks that the answer is 3, that is Nandan Nilekani? Here it is mentioned Nandam, though actually it is Nandan Nilekani, NK Singh, Kumaramangalam Birla. Well, yes, the answer is option number 4, that is Uday Kotak. SEBI in June 2007 has set up a committee under the chairmanship of Uday Kotak, and the objectives of that committee was basically to discuss about that what should be the composition of board of directors, how many members should be there, how many women should be there in board of directors, then How can independent directors function independently? What should be the various boards and committees in the board of directors? How can related parties? Right, so here in the passage, lot of functions have been mentioned that needs to be performed by the company. Already given in the passage, the answer to this was improving disclosures for related party transactions, because earlier I told you that apart from the areas that have been mentioned in the passage, related party transactions was one of the areas where it was supposed to give recommendations, right? So the answer to that was related party transactions. This was a bit of a cramming based question. Only those people could have answered this who remembered in detail that what were the recommendations of that committee.